Everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influenced.
We're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now.
Zelensky's stubbornness is about to leave Ukraine's front lines and cities naked to the Russians. Donald Trump holds all the cards here. Without the US, Ukraine's situation is untenable. Worst case, the war goes from static front lines to another attempted sweep toward Kyiv by Russia. While Ukraine's forces are well supplied with artillery, armored vehicles and drones from the US and NATO, all these systems live on fresh software updates. This is the modern battlefield. You don't fight without constant tech refreshes for operations and maintenance, not to mention space surveillance, and the crucial cyber protection NATO has extended to Ukraine since the war began. Given those realities, President Donald J. Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth can immediately turn off these 7 systems. 1. Ukraine's F-16s. Ukraine can fly the F-16s it has already received, but constant updates to the avionics are necessary to keep Ukraine's F-16s functioning at their peak. With the tech manuals, combat capability patches, and upgrades being all electronic, Ukraine will be clueless without American tech support. In the summer of 2024, the Air Force's 68th Electronic Warfare Squadron worked with Denmark and Norway at a NATO ally laboratory to update the electronic warfare subsystems on Ukraine's F-16s and fine-tune them for the Russian air defense threat. It took a mix of seasoned experts and bright young engineers. If not us, then who? We're the best people to do this, the 68th EWS chief engineer said at the time. Of course, the Russians changed their electronic warfare tactics often, zapping out energy on different frequencies. Without constant updates, Ukraine's F-16s won't function at their peak. And you can forget about more pilot training slots for Ukraine's F-16 pilots if US aid stops. 2. The M142 HIMARS. The US-made multiple launch rocket system is the crown jewel of Ukraine's artillery for hunting Russians at longer ranges. Without US aid, Ukraine's HIMARS systems would face reduced effectiveness due to shortages of precision-guided rockets, a lack of real-time US intelligence for targeting, and dwindling maintenance support. HIMARS relies on Guided Multiple Launch Rocket System, GMLRS, munitions, and potentially ATA-CMS missiles, which would become scarce without continued resupply. Additionally, US satellite and surveillance data help Ukrainian forces pinpoint high-value Russian targets, and losing this intelligence would make strikes less precise. Maintenance issues would also accumulate without spare parts and software updates. Without US aid, Ukraine's HIMARS systems are at a greater risk of being neutralized by Russian countermeasures. 3. Patriot air defenses. Germany, the US, and the Netherlands have all donated Patriot batteries or launchers, and it's been a big success. Patriot is a terminal intercept system used against missiles, aircraft, and drones, and the Ukrainians have taken out Russian hypersonic Kinzhal missiles. Of course, this depends on constant updates to the integrated battle command systems that link radars and operators. Missile resupply is also crucial, such as the batch of retired PAC-2 missiles sent to Ukraine in January. Beyond this, air defense works best when cued by space systems, providing what the military calls persistent coverage. In other words, satellites watch for heat and pass along the data. Ukraine is completely dependent on the US for this. 4. Black Sea defenses. One of the biggest strategic victories for Ukraine has been wiping out 40% of Russia's Black Sea fleet and forcing Russia's naval command to move out of their base at Sebastopol, Crimea. That's huge. However, ruling the Black Sea took US coastal Harpoon missiles and unmanned surface vessels and quite a bit of naval tactics coaching, all now in jeopardy. 5. Switchblade killer drones. The Switchblade is a loitering munition that can be carried in a backpack, then launched against Russian targets. Developed for the US in Afghanistan, Switchblades were in the first batch of aid to Kyiv. A deal was set up with maker AeroVironment to manufacture Switchblade in Ukraine, but that and other co-production deals freeze under the new policy. 6. SATCOM terminals and services. Apparently, Ukraine has benefited from some help in space, and not just from Elon Musk. The Ukrainian military fully relies on satellite images provided by its partners. After Trump and Zelensky's fallout, US aerospace company Maxar Technologies has already restricted Ukraine's access to its satellite imagery. Kyiv has been using the high-resolution satellite imagery for defense and strategic planning, tracking Russian troop movements, assessing battlefield conditions, and monitoring Russian infrastructure damage. The US has been guarding the space domain for Ukraine since the start of the war. Now, with the US deciding to stop sharing intelligence with Ukraine, Ukrainian armed forces are already in disarray. Not to mention Ukrainian reliance on Elon Musk's Starlink, Ukraine has relied heavily on Elon Musk's Starlink satellite network for secure and reliable internet connectivity, especially in frontline areas where traditional communications infrastructure has been destroyed by the war. Starlink has been crucial for military coordination, drone operations, intelligence gathering, and civilian communications. If Musk were to withdraw Starlink entirely, Ukraine could face severe operational setbacks, with disrupted battlefield communications, reduced situational awareness, and weakened command structures. This could leave Ukrainian forces more vulnerable to Russian electronic warfare and cyber attacks. 7. Cyber defenses. The Russians are big cyber warriors, and ongoing US support is essential to keep day-to-day systems running. When Russian President Vladimir Putin's invasion began, Russia shot cruise missiles at Ukraine's government data center and launched wiper attacks on computer networks. Fortunately, Ukraine had already dispersed its digital infrastructure in the cloud, with an assist from Microsoft and others in the tech sector, according to Microsoft President Brad Smith. Ukraine was unanimously voted into NATO's cyber defenses in May 2023. There's way more that Ukraine will lose without US backing. Since Trump halted US military aid, Russian forces are already advancing rapidly in Kursk. 10,000 Ukrainian troops are at risk of becoming encircled. Ukrainian and Russian media sources are now both reporting that a full Ukrainian withdrawal could be imminent. Zelensky is regretting his outburst in the White House and had said that he was ready to sign the mineral deal at any time.
Якщо ми домовилися, що вона буде підписана, з нашого боку, ми готові підписувати.
The fact is, Ukraine cannot fight even a defensive war without the range of support from drones to nuclear protective equipment. All this, and more, is part of the security guarantee fabric the US and NATO have extended to Ukraine. Zelensky is doing his soldiers no favor if he gives this up. If you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe. We invite you to leave a comment below to tell us of your opinion on this matter.